AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Yo. One, two. What you want to do? Fabian perspective. Big game. Big game. Fabian perspective. Expected, so accepted. And I just drank some coffee. You heard the intro. Deja un like, comentario y subscribe. Oh, ball. He might drop it. I don't know. He's in the mix, though. At the juice ball, though. Dame dato. Little coffee. Never hurt nobody. Not even the babies. Game 5 is upon us. New York Knicks, 76ers. Let me know if you can't hear me well. Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Oh, Danny Berry, what's going on, my brother? Game 5 coming up in less than an hour. The New York Knicks. Now it becomes, thank you, HSL. This has become the most important game in the last 2 decades for the Knicks. And that superseded everything else. What's on the agenda? Well, let's start with this. Shout out to Bojan Bogdanovic. Nostalgic Knicks, salute. Injury report, Knicks injury report, man. Bojan Bogdanovic, our guy, has been ruled out for the playoffs. He's going to have surgery on that ankle, going to have surgery on his wrist. Just unfortunate. I think it was a Batum that landed on his foot while he crossed half court, man. That was tough. Because that's our guy, Bojan. He had these moments for us, a couple of games, just 3-point shots. He was getting in a groove. He was pissing me off, and he came through, and you know, like we do as Knicks fans and as fans in general, he won me over eventually. And you know, shout out to him for playing with that injured wrist that obviously needs surgery, and just having him out there and be a soldier. He was the oldest player on the team. Shout out to Bojan Bogdanovic. We wish you all the best, my brother. Keep doing your thing. We got your back. You with us now, baby. You're with the craziest tribe, the Bronx Zoo, as I call us. Hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. Q Burrow, brother. Come on, hit that like button. Happy Tuesday, King. Closeout game tonight. Nitro Baccas. You kidding me? We in the mix. But you see the thumbnail. Our guy Bill Simmons is not playing around. I like Bill Simmons. Definitely one of the most sports media members of the last 2 decades. Speaking of 2 decades, his entire tenure as a media guy, especially a famous guy, the Knicks have pretty much been not irrelevant, as Kevin Durant would put us, but just they've never been this tough. He's already talked about how scared of us he is, and he's gotten some horrible news today as well. We'll get to that in a second. The Boston Celtics got bad news today. But let's talk about Bill Simmons basically calling out Joel Embiid and them 76ers. Enough is enough for you guys.
The thing for Philly that's so frustrating about this, and maybe Embiid just wasn't going to be right throughout these entire playoffs, but to your point, it looks a little bit too much like the other ones. But when you look at the rest of the East, other than Boston, and for all the PTSD everybody had about Boston and Miami after game 2, but with this Milwaukee thing falling apart, you know, this is cool from the Pacers to show some life, but defensively, nobody's going to be afraid of them. You know, this is the part where Philly's like, if we had just been whole, but then I don't think.
All right, but how do you explain Embiid scoring 50 points in Game 3? Like I just don't know when we turn the excuse button on or off for this one, because if I'm a Philly fan, I'm like, well, Embiid's not healthy. It's like, but he had 50 points in Game 3, so has to be like pretty healthy.
21 free throws help.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But no, you know what though? I can't say you're wrong. I don't present that to you like, hey, you're wrong.
No, I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying in general, like you have to pick and choose. Either
this
Embiid's
wasn't Kawhi Game 3 in today.
No.
Right.
No, either Embiid's healthy or is not. He was certainly really healthy in Game 3. He talked a bunch of shit after Game 2. And then in Game 4, he completely disappeared.
Bing bong. Bing bong. Pow. Headshot to your man, Joel Embiid. Headshot to them Philly fans complaining all series long. One excuse after another. I told you from the beginning, I didn't want to hear anything about the 76ers being able to beat us on a basketball court when your guy, your general, is hobbling out there, and he's known to hobble every single playoff season. It is what it is. It is what it is. How many excuses can you have? How many teams have been built around Joel Embiid? Because I've been getting on Luka lately. Time is up for Luka, right? Like, how many iterations of different teams has he had? How many coaches? Yada yada yada. Same thing for Joel Embiid. The only thing that hasn't changed in the last 7 years in Philadelphia for them 76ers is Mr. Joel Embiid. New GM, new coach, new sidekick, new role players. None of this, new that, new injury, new nerve to get on. Pun intended. And look, I gave him his props. He's one of the greatest talents we've ever seen. This is crazy what's going on. This is crazy what's going on with Joel Embiid. Come on now. When they compared him to Hakeem Olajuwon, I thought he had to slow down. And I think he's becoming a better passer than Hakeem Olajuwon. But Hakeem Olajuwon, different category, was healthy, number one. And forget about available. He was reliable. Joel Embiid has not been reliable at the end of his season, and on top of that, a lot of times what happens with these villains, they win you over because they play victim. Now, I'm not gonna get into Amanda Seals being on Club Shay Shay, but you can see Dame Dash. A lot of these guys, they play super villain, and then they also play super victim. And it's like, bro, so you did nothing wrong? Like, I ain't down to victim shame nobody, but you just show up in a spot and then you just get pulverized? You, Mr. Smarty Pants? This physical beast, he's just always on the ground, rolling around, always grabbing an ankle, grabbing a joint, grabbing a this and that. He stepped on Josh Hart 2 times, both feet. He stepped on him like Rick James did, do couches. And then he grabs his foot. He did it to Brunson, grabbed his knee. He thinks he's slick, man. The gig is up. We have cameras. And the worst part about it is the double-edged sword when it comes to superstardom. The NBA has to push the product. They have to push their MVP. They can't allow everyone, the casual fan, to think that this guy's a bad guy yet. They weren't ready for the Embiid heel turn. They weren't ready for that. The New York Knicks, oh, we're ready. That was a big mistake. Oh, my God, did I forget about this moment? Oh, my God, did I forget about this moment, man? Do you remember what the crowd sounded like at the Garden when Trae Young was here? Did you guys forget about that? I did up until today. I just seen it earlier. What happened? I can't even find it. It was crazy. Trae Young was crazy. I just saw it earlier today. I can't even find it now. But it was nuts. So Joel Embiid, let's not forget, on top of that, we got the OG who we are begging to come on full display and bring yourself back to the Garden, please. Ricky G in the building, my brother. What's going on? We in the that's New York in the background. That's the Garden. That's everything. You kidding me, Ricky G? Shout out to Charles Oakley, keeping it 1001 out here. You crazy? Charles Oakley on Sirius XM today this morning. Joel Embiid is too big to be crying. I'm sorry. I said about 2 years ago he could be the next Will Chamberlain. I don't know. He could be the next Dunkin' Donut or somebody because he just cries. I don't know what the hell Dunkin' Donut has to do with anything, Charles. But we are begging you to come back to the Garden. You were one of our floor generals. We need you to be out there and show our crew how it is to get busy. Bring back the 90s. Remember they said we done with the 90s? Bring it back. I'm coming to the Garden to get the win tonight. Woo! You in New York, Ricky G? Let me know. We got peoples out here crazy. On top of that, you saw what Charles Oakley had to say, right? Smoking them. You big baby. Everywhere you go, you're rolling around, grabbing a foot, crying. You're too big to be crying. You saw Jalen Brunson check him last game, bro, and knock that off. Jalen Brunson, the new Michael Corleone. They're not telling you. You heard it here first. The new Michael Corleone, the new Godfather. Hey, I run things around here. You thought LeBron had something. I got a squad behind me. You want New York behind you, don't you, Joel Embiid? You need us to negotiate, Joel Embiid. You better stop acting up. You better stop stepping on us because now we got the whole propaganda machine of New York attacking your image. You're done, Joel Embiid. You've lost the favor of New York. Unless Brunson crowns you, Don Brunson, unless he crowns you, you no good around here. No bueno. And the reason why I also say that is, think about it. Joel Embiid today, right? It was already reported. Guess what? We know he was questionable or whatever. Not probable to go to play the game. He was probable. I said probable, but I think they listed him as questionable today. But that's different than just not being at shoot around, recovery, injury recovery, and a migraine. Not present at shoot around Tuesday. Oh, really, Joel Embiid? Oh, really? Like I just said, do you remember them Trae Young chants? Philly is like Brooklyn. We got 4 more boroughs. This place is crazy. Joel Embiid did not realize what he was up against. I think he's scared to death. I'd be shocked if he scores 30 points today. I expect him to not play the entire fourth quarter. If Tom Thibodeau has the cojones, the balls to start Precious Achiuwa with OG Anunoby and shut that thing down from the beginning, if he has the balls to do that, your man is sitting out the fourth quarter with a towel over his head, and he's going to hear the craziest chants of all time. And I'd rather it go down like that than any game-winning scenario in the Garden right now. I don't need the world to end at this moment. I love Manhattan. But if Tom Thibodeau wants to put this to rest, in my opinion, you let Hartenstein come off the bench or you bring in Precious Achiuwa as soon as possible and put this thing to an end. It's over. You got 2 guys that are good, and that's it. Your role players suck. They have no real confidence. Oubre be talking out of his you know what. You know what, and I know it. Kelly Oubre has been unimpressive. I don't know what everyone's looking at when they watch the game. When he goes around the picks, he's kind of unsettled, and he relies way too much on his height and his athleticism, but he's not high IQ in my opinion. he might not play too. If that's the case, he might not show up, my brother. He's not coming to the Garden. Listen, you know what wouldn't shock me? If Joel Embiid does not come to the Garden. I'm telling you, listen, this is not Boston. Remember, Draymond Green is Mr. Tough Guy, and he got scared of the Boston Garden in the finals. Admittedly, got shook. Joel Embiid, I don't know if you're ready for this kind of pressure, because I don't know about you guys, but I feel a little bit differently when I start working out a little bit more. I do my push-ups, I get into my game. I walk around with a little bit like my wife says I look like a chicken hawk. And I walk the streets like, who you? Right? But Joel Embiid is in no condition to be walking around like a chicken hawk or a big, what's it called, a foghorn leghorn. That's what he is right now. Right? Because when you ain't on your A game and you got 30,000 mother lovers yelling at you, going crazy, repeating the doubt in your head, going nuts like that, you are cooked. He knows it. When you're yapping like that, he had his towel over. Remember after game 2, they towel over his head. No, we're going to win the game. What are you talking about? They said Mitchell Robinson is questionable, whatever it is. Listen, Tommy Tibbs, stop playing these games. Start Ochua. Let's put this to rest. First quarter on. All we're going to hear is a party from the first quarter on if you do that, because it's shut down city. Tyrese Maxey, great to meet you. Nice to know you. Get out of here. See you next year, Papa. Moving right along. Of course, the likes of your man, the front runner himself, the front running Knicks fan himself, and you all know where I'm going. Apologies, I got to bring him up. But hey, I got a job to do. I got YouTube views to gain. We ain't playing. The fake Knicks fan himself, Stephen A. Smith, decided to comment since LeBron James and the Lakers got eliminated last night, 4-1 by the Denver Nuggets. Hey, let's give LeBron this. He didn't get swept out of there like KD. He keeps kind of like one up in KD and Steph Curry, by the way. That little inch, at least I didn't get swept out. At least I made the playoffs and I didn't get swept. That's the conversation. That's the group chat right now, right? LeBron is like, yo, man, at least I got one. What y'all doing over there? Stephen A. Smith saw LeBron exited the playoffs, and he decides that he's going to come back with this commentary.
And go where?
I got an answer.
And do what? Go where? The Knicks? No, ain't nobody going to the Knicks. Don't you mention the Knicks. Don't you mention the Knicks.
Hey, I'm not saying it's plausible. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. But let's not act like if LeBron James was on the New York Knicks, that they would they go to the finals. They go to the finals.
Now
they go to the finals. What? But yes, they would.
But you got Brunson.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Stephen A., you might go to the finals this season without LeBron.
Yeah. But listen.
There's a shot.
But
I mean,
I am
Celtics
that. See,
are
here's
banged
the
up.
difference. Here's the difference, Molly, between me and first of all, where the hell is my ISO shot? Do you see the suit I got on? How fly I'm looking?
Oh my goodness.
ISO shot. What's up?
Stephen
What's
A.,
up,
Brandy was just
Come on,
trying to
girl.
show me some love
here's
as
the deal.
well. She was trying to help
Extraordinary
me out
director
too.
Brandy. I mean, you gave Shannon the ISO shot yesterday with the pink striped suit on. What about this, brother? But anyway, seriously, the bottom line is this. I'm not one of these typical Cowboy fans. You know, the delusional, disgusting, nauseating fan base. We're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? Every damn year for the last 29 years, can't even make it to a conference final. I'm not one of those. I recognize the fact that the New York Knicks get to the finals this year. It's because, obviously, Giannis is hurt. Now Porzingis is hurt and stuff like that. Embiid has been hurt. I recognize that I'm not lost. I'll take it. Because, damn it, when it's been 50-plus years since you won a title, you can't be choosy. Yeah. I don't give a damn we got the Crawley. I don't give a damn if everybody got to have food poisoning or let's get there. Whatever it Knicks. You know what I'm saying? I got to be real with you about that. But the point is, I'm not that delusional. All I'm saying is, you talk about LeBron, LBJ, number 2 all time. That brother in this New York Knicks squad, please, please.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I gotta, pollute the real Knick fan base with this trash version of us, the fake version. He said he's not a Cowboys fan. Yeah, you probably are a Cowboys fan, bro. You might as well be. We don't care about you, man. Kendrick Perkins, we're gonna get to you in a second. Can't believe you try to lure Stephen A. Smith back into our good graces. Not happening. Not happening. You know what else not happening? Don't bring. Hey, Leon Rose, let this be a PSA. Do not do it. Don't do it. LeBron, second greatest basketball player of all time. 21 years in the game, breaking this record, breaking that record. We don't care. That's not how we were built. We don't want the likes of these guys. Bunch of divas. The leader of the diva era. We don't want you around here. We'd rather obliterate you in whatever team you're representing to end your era. It's the end of the super team era. The NBA put the rules in mainly because of you, Kevin Durant, Golden State, all you guys. There's been 5 different champions the last 5 years. LeBron is one of them, but guess what? It was a bubble. And I ain't trying to, but he's one of them. He's one of the champions the last 5 years. He can't repeat for a reason. It's not just on him. The league is changing. You have to, the nucleus has to be what the Knicks have right now. You can't deviate from that. Also, let's get to the fact that Molly Curran, who's on the show, just told him, yo, but y'all might make the finals this year. Like, you don't even need LeBron. So what? He's such a groupie. Stephen A. Smith is such a groupie that he keeps talking about Donovan Mitchell, who does what? What does Donovan Mitchell do? What does he do? Besides dunk the ball and score a lot of points. He's flashy. That's all you want him for. You're a groupie. LeBron James. All you know is big names. You didn't know who Hartenstein was. You still didn't believe in Jalen Brunson. All you guys are groupies. And that's my thing with everybody. I understand you can say whatever you want about whatever player had, whatever criticism you want, but watch the game. Molly just told you something. You just totally dismissed it because you don't watch the game. You just said that part of the reason why that may even happen is because Joel Embiid is hurt. Giannis is hurt. And by the way, the Celtics with some bad news. I don't know how awful this is, but we're going to see because apparently, according to Tom Bontemps, I think he's on the what's the podcast with Brian Windhorst. I forgot, but it's a really good podcast. It's like an insider's thing. The Celtics say Kristaps Porzingis is out with a soleus strain, the same injury Giannis Antetokounmpo has missed the entire Bucks Pacers series so far with. That's a big deal for the Celtics, right? You're missing Porzingis. He's the guy who's supposed to stretch the floor. Right? I don't mind. I'm gonna say I don't mind this, but this is part of the risk that Boston took, right? And we have to deal with injuries as well. We're missing the big dog as well. But I don't need these fake Knicks fans to try to remind me or tell me, persuade the public into thinking that we as Knicks fans believe that we're only going to win because of injuries. We went over yesterday how Shaq somehow discovered that the Knicks play hard, and that's how we win games. Stephen A. Smith has yet to discover that, and he has enough ample time to say, you know what? I got too many things to do in my life. I don't watch the Knicks enough. Let me put somebody on my platform that really watches the Knicks and learn together in real time. And you could keep it real. And you would just win instead of that bum-ass channel you got basically doing what we do. And I'm pasting your face on my thumbnail, and people are going to tune in to see what I got to say about you. You're doing the same thing I am. And you're worth millions. How are you still having to do that at this stage in your career? Because you don't keep it real. Imagine if I just can only imagine if I had his platform. I believe in myself that much. Clearly he does, but this is BS. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? We want LeBron James for what reason? He's so stuck on being an argumentative person debating that he tries to like X out the invisible opponent that he's debating with and try to anticipate what they're going to say. The invisible friend that he's debating with. They're going to say that the Knicks only won because everybody's injured. So what? So what? That's how the ball bounces. We got injuries too. What is he talking about? Julius Randle, all NBA. He might, in my opinion, is our third or fourth best player right now. But he's out. We're missing a big piece to our team. For him to say that, again, he doesn't watch the games. This is sad. So when we celebrate, and Kendrick Perkins, this is the reason why we don't want him at the parade. Straight tomatoes to his face. Don't do it. Stephen A., stay home. It's not going to be me. It might be someone that looks like me. Launching that tomato from 100-yard distance. Bang! Don't do it to yourself, guys. And it's one last point. He mentions, again, the injury with Giannis and Embiid, even the Joker. The reason why I sound like a broken record, I'm going to sound like a broken record. The reason why I'm so big on the Knicks making a finals appearance is because OG Anunoby looks like a defensive player of the year candidate if he was fully healthy. That's what I projected him to be. We're talking about a guy who made second team all defense last year, led the league in steals. I didn't know he was this, though. Can guard 1 through 5, and then he's really can guard a 5. You can guard the center? What the hell? Well, the center is currently about to be the MVP again. The center has been an MVP like 4 or 5 years in a row now. If you count Giannis as a center or a 4, I don't know. He's a big man, though. And he gave OG Anunoby gave all 3 of them dudes problems when I was watching the game. And this wasn't in Colorado, Joker. This was in New York City, the Garden, MSG, in Manhattan, 7th Avenue. OG Anunoby is the reason why he gave Giannis problems, Embiid problems, Joker problems, all healthy in the regular season I'm talking about. All healthy. Then come playoff time, you heard what Nick Nurse said the other night? And Anunoby can guard Embiid. And Anunoby, he can guard Embiid. That's what he said. And mind you, this was the guy who was crying for 4 games in a row, 3 games in a row, whatever he was doing, crying about his timeout. Oh, my timeout. Timeout. That same guy, half of the Dudley boys, he said OG Anunoby can guard Embiid. For him to admit that is saying something, along with the fact that he saw how he was guarded in the regular season. He saw that footage. It's undeniable at this point. What's also undeniable at this point is Stephen A. Smith is a fraud. Knicks fan. Mitch Robb said he's playing tonight. Where do you see that at, man? I'm going to look that up now. I saw he was questionable. If he does play, I want him to take his time, a couple minutes. We got enough guys out there, man, to really rotate. This should show Tom Thibodeau that it's a committee thing. We don't have, again, this is not a super team. We don't need 7 guys to go play 40 minutes. Give people a break, man. Brunson's the only guy, iHeart is the only guy that rebounds like that. we can see them playing 40 minutes because of the rebounding and everything, but we need to have a committee of big men out there, especially on Joel Embiid, the Giannis's of the world, the Jokers of the world. Oh. 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 And Rebecca Harlow said it. 24 minutes. 24 minutes. And the game is coming on. You see this man right here. He's coming out. By the way, he put out that biblical reference. Not to bring in any religious warfare over here. I salute with everybody. I'm a neutral gang member. But you saw the biblical reference. John Smith, you know about it. When he's talking about revenge, Mitchell Robinson put out a biblical revenge post out there, and he's coming back. Joel Embiid, I would not be surprised if you got that brown water leaking down your shorts trotting onto the court tonight, because the big boy's back. And we got Precious, and we got Hartenstein. They hold these things. Your Lakers want NBA crew officiated, investigated because calls that went Denver. Listen, Victor, get the Lakers out of here. Nobody cares about them. But do you see this man on the screen right now, Victor? Victor. Wow, what news? Injury report updated. We lost Bojan, but we got the big dog back. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. Imagine he comes in for what my guy say right here? I hope Mitch comes in for the one closeout and gets kicked out. Imagine if he's really injured, if his foot is really broken, but he just hobbles out there to come in there and just give the uppercut of his life to Embiid's nuts. You're out of there. The Garden. Do you understand what they're gonna do? I've been watching wrestling my first half of my life. I can't stand that shit anymore. But this is what it's all about. Elbows to the chest. That's right. Ojo por ojo. Tú me entiendes, mi hermanito. Mitchell Robinson is back, fellas. 21 more minutes for the destruction of the 76ers. Am I talking too much? I don't know. I'm hyped up, but I smell blood. I don't even know what I want to talk about this, man. Kendrick Perkins, Jalen Brunson. Let me see if I got something else. Steven. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it for you guys, baby. We got Kendrick Perkins was on Knicks Fan TV. Shout out to Knicks Fan TV. CP, the franchise, how you say his thing, right? He killed the game, and then he got Kendrick Perkins on to his channel, which is crazy because if you think about it, this guy be getting on CP, the franchise, clearly a big time Knicks fan. He was getting on Stephen A. Smith this whole time, man. Love that. Kendrick Perkins tried to come out here and extend an olive branch. Kendrick, you better learn quickly. Leave us the hell alone. Knock it off. We don't want no frauds out here, man. We keep the fraudulent stuff to Canal Street and we flip that, okay? Shout out to Africanos.
Would I be surprised if the Knicks make it to the NBA Finals? Hell no. Let me explain why. Did you see what happened with Kristaps Porzingis last night? Got injured. So now the playing field has leveled up, okay? So when I hear people like Draymond, and I respect Draymond knowledge a lot. Some, I don't agree with a lot of shit that he say. He probably feel the same way about me. But when I hear these certain people talk about, I still straddling the fence with Jalen Brunson, to me, is just almost to the point where they have too much pride to say, damn, I was wrong. I was wrong. Because he can be a 1A to lead a team into winning the championship. Hell, he did it at the college level. Matter of fact, he won 2 of them. Now, I get it, right? It's a different level. You got to win, 4 7-game series. But if he has another bona fide all-star caliber player alongside of him, or Robin, hell yeah, he could get it done.
Yeah. Here you go. You heard Kendrick Perkins. He does not like Draymond Green. Just watch the Perk real with it, not no fake-ish. I mean, I think so. I think he's a character too, but he's like a natural character, and he's out there being himself. We were just talking about that yesterday, how JJ Redick, flea out the flea, worldwide flea in the building. He was saying how basically, nobody's gonna ever call Kendrick Perkins for a head coaching position or general manager position, which could be true. It would take us, I think, a specific scenario to get Kendrick Perkins on the sideline or involved in the front office, because if he's able to be a recruiter like that and be this personality type in a team, maybe. But again, typically, there's no way possible we can imagine him in the front office or on the sideline before JJ Redick, right? But he's made his bones in the media. He's made big time mistakes. Like what he said about the Joker last year was just the stupidest thing anybody could say, because the Joker was that good. And it, if you're not watching basketball, you didn't know Joker was that good. But at that point, I was still saying he's not that good on defense. Shout out to Zach from the Z Show. He said, nah, he plays really good. Like, you're not really. I'm like, well, he ain't no Anthony Davis. He's like, nah, he ain't Anthony Davis, but he's not supposed to be Anthony Davis. And Kendrick just totally ignored anything like that, any of those possibilities, and so he was in just bad standing as far as just basketball talk for a lot of people. And I think he's worked his way back. I mean, he was in a big time argument speaking to JJ Redick with JJ Redick about that, and he was so dead wrong, because it was like, most of the people that vote are white and they're gonna vote for him because of that. It's just like, word. So why haven't they? They're gonna say that about Steve. Say that about Steve Nash. You know what I mean? Like it was unanimous. It was the majority of us, and the vast majority of us, saying there's no way Steve Nash is the best player in the NBA. He's not even top 3, top 4, right? Regardless of where you have him ranked. The Joker is overall consensus top 3 at this time last year, especially after he won the ring. For everyone, he was a top guy. And again, that's the ring bias thing that everybody has that I don't agree with. You don't need to win to prove to me that you are that great. You need to watch in different moments. And I understand for most of us why it's hard to really understand that. The championship is usually with two teams competing at this high level, and then you're in the playoffs and everybody wants to win. So you're going to actually compete at this level where we're supposed to see the greatness arrive, and it's centered at that point. The regular season is harder because anything can happen in a regular season, and a lot of us get caught up in a lot of riffraff during the regular season. We all do. We're just fans of the game. But because of that, he was dead wrong. Just like Draymond Green is dead wrong. Like at this point, I think Kendrick Perkins is right. There's no way you're watching the Knicks and you're thinking Brunson's not a 1A. Brunson's not leading the team. These are the same things that could have been said about Steph Curry. Where is the Draymond to Jalen Brunson? Like Draymond, like the fact that Draymond hasn't even thought that is weird to me. The fact that people continue to take this position, it just feels like clickbait. And we recognize clickbait because it's just like, all right, I get it. Like we can go on and on about how great Jalen Brunson is. But it's like how many times do I have to clip something up and just like argue with the same video with the same topics? But it's just weird that Draymond would not understand that that you have the guy, the blueprint to how to win with the little guy. He has to move off ball more if they're thinking about winning, right? They have to provide more pieces around them to protect them. That's why OG Anunoby, again, is very important to me for Jalen Brunson. I was not talking about any conference finals appearances guaranteed or even a finals appearance. We could beat anybody before OG Anunoby. It wasn't Julius Randle that made me feel that way. You know, even a healthy Mitchell Robinson. We were still a clunky team in December, even fully healthy. It wasn't greatness. It was a battle, even more so than now. Now there's a lot more things that are clear to us. Kendrick Perkins has been vying for us. And I'm also open to the fact, do not get this twisted. I'm also open to the fact that Kendrick Perkins is using the Knicks fan base. Like, again, two things can be true. Two things can be true. Kendrick Perkins can actually believe in Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. He can also be using that to catapult his image. Doof. His one hand washes the other at that point. You know what I mean? He's great TV, in my opinion. Carry On is hilarious. He's funny. He allows them to make fun of him most of the time. Again, everyone's trying to replicate the inside the NBA feel. And I forgot to mention this the other day. What is the football version of inside the NBA? The Fox thing is amazing. The Fox thing is amazing also with Strahan and Terry Bradshaw. I just don't know if they really shoot shots at each other the way they do on Inside the NBA. And I don't know if Perkins and Stephen A can do that. But you know, I think Perkins is he's like nasty enough or he's sensitive enough to really try to go back and forth with you like that, because you saw that with Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick when they were on First Take going crazy, right? So once he saw, I believe, once you get that spike on YouTube, that's what makes Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, you know, tiresome, because they kept looking for the spike. And Kendrick Perkins, maybe he found the spike in the Knicks in a playful, more respectable manner. Because you don't want to keep going with that black versus white racism. Oh, you keep doing that. It's like, bro, you dividing. What are you doing? Now we're not even talking about sports anymore. Now Kendrick knows this is polarizing. Stephen A. Smith is here. And if he really wanted to be diabolical, if I was him, because that's what I wanted to see, what he said about Stephen A. Smith on this show. And everyone's saying that he was complimentary of Stephen A. Smith and he was telling us to chill out on Stephen A. Smith, which is not happening, by the way. If he really wants to be diabolical and be an opportunist, he can put the foot to neck on Stephen A. Smith on live TV, because he teased it when he said, listen, man, Tracy Morgan already called me the governor, man. It ain't no Stephen A. Knicks. It's the Perk Knicks, right? He teased it. But all it takes is a little more of an ego push to keep using the New York Knicks fan base. When they're throwing Kendrick Perkins on 7th Avenue up like a big black pizza pie, rah, like that, flipping them like, whoa, person to go crazy. When they do that, it's over for Stephen A. Smith. It's over. Also, let's not forget our guy. They keep interviewing him and he keeps avoiding us, man. He keeps avoiding us. But he's won us over. He's one guy that has won over the old school Charles Oakley and his Jalen Brunson. He says Brunson is the greatest Knick since Walt Frazier. Somebody gonna say, what about Patrick and Carmelo? Okay, they didn't do this. I was saying Carmelo ain't do this. But for Charles Oakley to skip over Patrick Ewing like that, I don't know what he wants from Patrick Ewing, because this is at some point, the amnesia you got with Pat, my dude, is kind of crazy. What the hell were you gonna do in New York City without Patrick Ewing? Knock it off, Oak. Big Oak. Can we talk when we speak like men? Huh? The hell were you gonna do without big old Patrick Ewing, bro? I get it. He wasn't built for the 1A, and he wasn't that, mentally tough. Okay, at one point, Mr. Finger roll. I was there. We were all hurt. For all this calling out, I hope you were doing it in the locker room. I'm hoping that, number one. Number two, we can't just skip over 15 years of that. That was 1.5 decades of we're playing around with conference finals championships around this guy. All we need is a little bit. If X-Man is there 92, 93, he comes back. It's a different story. Different story if Patrick Ewing doesn't break his wrist and he's there for the 99 run. Oak, chill out. I think this is quite disrespectful, and it was easy to disrespect Patrick Ewing and dismiss him, especially all that time when I had to go to school. They laughed at me. Him scoring 1 point. I understand that. I get it. I was there. I lived it. Oak. But we ain't like he set a record for blocks in a championship series at that time in '94 against Olajuwon. I'm always going to repeat that. Did Olajuwon get the best of him? Of course, we know this, but he wasn't that far off. There wasn't the Robert Horry's, a rookie Sam Cassell. Come on, be serious. That ain't listen, John Starks. No disrespect. Did Pat Riley get out coached by Rudy Tomjanovich, who never was anything after that again? Am I going on a rant about the 90s Knicks? Of course I am. Perkins also made a mistake. Kendrick Perkins made a mistake by saying that Brunson was that 47 points, 10 assist game that he had in game 4 against the 76ers. He said that was the biggest game in Knicks history. I don't know if that's better than Walt Clyde Frazier. I wasn't alive for it. But that's always been talked about as just, different level. I will say this, as much as Clyde Frazier was amazing, he wasn't necessarily the leader of the team. Willis Reed was enforcer and leader. Like the way they would talk about him smacking dudes up, just you didn't play with Willis Reed. The opposing teams, players didn't play with Willis Reed. Frazier didn't have to. He's watch his podcast with Jalen Brunson when he mentions he had like I think 39 and 16 assists. Brunson's like, oh, what? Those numbers are crazy. He was just like, oh, he was taken aback by it. So he would, Walt Clyde Frazier was on the Roommates podcast with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. And Josh Hart was kind of like in La La Land at that point. But for Brunson, it stood out. He was like, yo, those are crazy numbers. Like Frazier was that guy. Don't get me wrong. So understandably, that's where Oakley's starting to get some credit in that statement, right? Because Brunson is not only Clyde Frazier, he's Patrick Ewing, Carmelo. Where I'm the lead guy, and I'm acting like it. There is nobody doubting Brunson as a leader, especially when he took on Embiid like that in Game 4 and called him out on the court. We didn't really, Ewing wasn't like that, right? Brunson seems to be, remember, the tough little guy, quiet, and he's not timid like Walt Clyde Frazier. I'm not saying he's Willis Reed, but that's what Oakley is saying, bro. He's the leader at the end of the day. So it's a tough conversation. If you get to the second round again, the conversation I think is going to start to heat up even more. And then if we get to the conference finals, yeah. But that Patrick Ewing talk must be had. That Patrick Ewing talk must be had. Nobody had the footwork of Brunson, and Patrick Ewing didn't have that footwork. Even though Brunson is a little bit like Patrick Ewing, he in Game 2, he was a bit like Patrick Ewing when he was a black hole. Like he would just hold on to the ball a little too much, shot a little bit too much. We saw that with Patrick Ewing. But if we make it to the conference finals, we got to have this conversation again. And like really argue it, because this is gonna just be too great. conference final. That means you're getting better every year. The team is getting better every year, and they're following suit with you. So, yeah, man. Let me read some comments before we get out of here. 4 more minutes of the game, baby. Pat Ewing didn't support Oakley when Dolan stuff going on, so Oak is a little salty. Wrong time to compare Brunson to Ewing. Both great Knicks. Oak is Oak. Love him, but he should leave the past alone. He was kind of throwing shots at him before that. He didn't like his leadership. He always referred to it, but Sam Cassell and Herrera killed off that bench. Yeah, man, that team was the first team. They shot like the most 3-pointers. They broke records for 3-point shots attempted and made in those 2 or 3 years. Like that blueprint is today's blueprint. Dwight Howard and them copied that blueprint for the Rockets. They were built just smart. And remember, they came off of a low. That Twin Tower high with him and Ralph Sampson. I remember I wasn't there either. I didn't watch basketball back then. But imagine having the Twin Towers and one of your best players gets hurt like that. It's Ralph Sampson, who's the old Wemby's OG, right? He goes down, and then you got 4 or 5 seasons with Olajuwon starting to come into his own after being a lunatic throughout the 80s. Akeem without the H, going crazy. That finger roll was the start of the fall in the last fight. Yeah, man. I'll be the bad guy. Forget you winning that raggedy. Fish, what up? Perk smart for linking up with the best fan base. Correct. You guys see it. You guys see it too. Perk isn't the governor. He's more like an illegal immigrant mooching off of our welfare system. Hey, first of all, watch your mouth. I got mad illegal immigrants in my family. Chill out, Charles Barkley. Fabian Perkins is in a contract year with ESPN. He's going to become a podcaster also. He's already a podcaster. He has a podcast with Swagoo, and I actually like him and Swagoo. But you need to have a podcast nowadays because you got to sell yourself in every different aspect. But I think you're saying he's a moocher or he's an opportunist. Honestly, mainstream media, I'd rather watch Perk defend the Knicks than watch anyone else because he's more genuine in his excitement for the Knicks' success. Yeah, and remember he's hitched his ride. He's hitched to his ride now. So he can be wrong and strong too, like I alluded to with the Joker argument he made last year. But he's strong and right this year, baby. Perk is a broken clock. I admit I had reservations about Brunson's defense because of size, but he's proven to me that he's different. He plays really well. I think he plays smart. Again, is it Ja Morant and Trae Young? We wish they could play defense like this because if Ja Morant and Trae Young start playing defense like Brunson, especially Ja Morant, that becomes a different guy. We talked about it yesterday. Where I think Ant-Man clears Ja Morant at this point because he plays defense. But Ja Morant playing defense is that would be crazy. That would really be crazy. And I don't understand it because they're like, to me, they're just not low IQ. I think they have really good IQs. Trae Young and Ja Morant, the court vision, they have a lot, but they just lapse on defense so much. It's crazy. 1 more minute. Let me read some more comments. Perk was smart for that. Yep, you have a point. Thank you. Julie has laid the foundation for the team we have now. He still gets credit for this run. We have to start giving him more credit. I can't lie. Me, myself, I should speak for myself as well. I saw that Celtic jersey behind him. But I am mad at him for that. He should rip it down. We got to burn it, especially during the conference finals, Q Burrow. I'm watching TNT post-game Shaquille O'Neal, and when they announced that Bojan will be out for the remainder of the playoffs, Shaq started to celebrate. It's disgusting. Let them celebrate, bro. They got money on the game. And that's all they got for us is praying on our downfall, baby. That's all you could do at this point because they don't want us to win. They know we're nuts. And they know that we're going to make them go viral when we do stuff like this. And all we can do is make a YouTube channel, put their face on it, and then react to it and make some money. Shout out to Big Perk. Definitely using us. Flee! People hate being wrong. Nobody believes in Brunson because he's small and athletic and looks like he got a dad bod. That's funny. He looks like a midget sometimes. Oh, can I say that word? He looks like a little people. He looks like a little person sometimes. His head is mad big, no diddy. And sometimes I see his arm like, he kind of looks like a little person. Who cares about KFT? Hey, chill out, man. Brunson is him. He needs an NBA chip to complete winning on every level. He was the leader of his high school and college career, and he's leading the Knicks. We got this. Yeah, big time. Oh, wait. Was that Mark Jackson? Forgetting to put Joker in your top 3 was wild. He accused Joker to miss out on his rightful 3P at MVP. Yeah, that was wild. And on top of that, he called him my man. He was saying he was stat padding. That was stupid. I'm like, do you watch the Joker? Like, Perk was Come on, man. He was dead wrong. He wasn't watching the Nuggets games. He just wasn't. Salute to Big Perk for riding with us. Yeah, I think high school too. I want a young superstar that never won elsewhere. I want multiple chances at the chip. Yep. Yeah, good point. He didn't win anywhere in the NBA. I believe Brunson did it in high school too. Yeah, he has, because I've heard that a lot since he's been with the Knicks. I don't watch high school like that or college. I don't follow it at all. People that do, they mention that like, yo, nah, he won. He was always just a winner like that. Salute to CP. He had airtime on Sunday. Just watched it. Nah, Perk, real with it, no fake. Yeah, we read all that. New York will win tonight. Take the Philadelphia in 5. Let's see if Embiid chooses to come out and guard Brunson. He did that, and that was bad. There's about to be another earthquake in the East Coast because of the Garden. Oh my God, I'm scared to death. We're going to the finals, baby. Mitch gonna drop Embiid. Yeah, man. They got more. Game time. Peace. All right, let's go get it, guys. Don't drink the Perk Kool-Aid. He's a broken clock. I'm trying not to, fish. Game time. Let's go, guys. Facts. I ain't like that. Take Perk. Head on Joker either. Shaq and Barkley probably losing a lot of money because of the Knicks winning. We need to start pat down, search and flee. Yo, you know what time it is. Let's go get it. Knicks in 5. AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
I gotta do it again because I left a comment. AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.